Hey guys, and welcome to the Northern Greece road trip recap. By now all the separate videos about the places we've been have gone live. We've had one about Meteora, one about Epirus or everything in the Pindos mountain range, then one about Halkidiki, and the last one about Thessaloniki. I am back today with an overview of the entire trip. I will share my thoughts on the places that we've been, the places you should and shouldn't go, the things I would do differently next time, and of course I will break down our costs and budget, and I will give you some recommendations for road tripping in Greece. Let's get started. We landed in Thessaloniki, and although you can start your trip there, it is where we ended our trip. Thessaloniki is my favorite Greek city. I would even say that I see myself living there for a month, maybe 2 months, to really practice my Greek. Because we've been going to Greece for 18 summers now, and I speak 6 languages and none of them is Greek. And I think that's disgraceful. That is why I am now using Duolingo to learn Greek. This is what the app looks like, and you just do some exercises to learn words and sentences and some grammar. And let's see if by this time next year I will speak some decent Greek. Anyway, when we arrived in Thessaloniki, we did not expect that there would be no free parking in the entire city. There is only parking for residents, which is indicated by a blue line, or paid parking, which is indicated by a white line. And the paid parking is only until about 7 p.m. I think. And then it's free all night until 9 in the morning. But during the day there's nowhere that you can park your car for free. So we were lucky that underneath the Airbnb was actually a paid parking. It cost us 25 euros to park the car there for a day and a half. When it comes to the Airbnbs that we stayed in an incredible Airbnb in Meteora, also one in Ioannina and one in Thessaloniki, and I will link them in the description below. Every single one of them was amazing. Especially the one in Thessaloniki was located very central. It was easy to go everywhere on foot, and in general that is the best way to see everything the city has to offer. Meteora was our first stop, and it honestly blew our minds. And it is also so affordable. It only costs 3 euros to visit one monastery. So if you visit the 3 most important ones like we did, you only pay 9 euros in total. Something you do need to take into account is the fact that you need to be dressed appropriately. So women can't wear leggings or shorts. They need to wear a long skirt. They do offer skirts at the entrance. Some you'll have to pay for, others you won't. It's easy to just take a scarf with you yourself, just in case there's any doubts. Also cover your shoulders, and men need to wear long shorts or longer pants. But with the long shorts, they could get in anywhere. There is a whole street of restaurants in Kalampaka, and I would recommend having lunch in Kastraki, which is a bit smaller and more authentic and cozy, and also completely surrounded by the rocks. And if there is one thing you do, aside from visiting the great Meteoron Monastery, Varlaam Monastery, and the Holy Trinity Monastery, it is go and watch the sunset at one of the viewpoints. I just have no words for Meteora. Like, I can't even describe the beauty of these landscapes. To me, it is one of the most beautiful landscapes in all of Europe, and I will keep repeating myself until you believe me. From Meteora, we then took the non-toll road to Ioannina. And along this road, we were so surprised by all the animals that we came across. This was honestly one of our favorite drives in all of Greece. And you also pass by some ski resorts, which is something that a lot of people might not really think of when they think of Greece. And by coincidence, we stopped along the way in Metsovo, and this was such a hidden gem. It is initially a winter destination, but even during the summer times, it was full of life. There were so many people there. We felt like we had arrived in like a very popular place that we didn't know of, like a real hidden gem, and people were creating wooden crafts. We could just see them do it like from the car just driving into town, and they have lots of incredible local products. It's honestly something you can't miss if you are on this route. Ioannina is a student city, so there are a lot of cozy bars and restaurants. There is a lot of life in general, and also the old town is really beautiful. We explored it when the sun was setting, which was the perfect time. Then we also took the boat to the island on the lake, and yeah, it was nice to see, but it wasn't very special. I would have preferred to go into the mountains, to the Vikos Gorge and Papingo rock pools and Zagori, but unfortunately the people I was traveling with also decided not to spend another day in the car, which I completely understand. But still, I think it would have been better if we went up into the mountains. We then made our way back to Halkidiki and we passed by the royal tombs of Aegae. And I think this is one of my favorite archaeological sites I have ever been to, if not my all-time favorite, because the tombs are still so intact. All of the stuff that was inside of the tombs is on display as well. And the gold. Like, I have videos of the gold and it's unedited and it's so shiny it almost blinds you. It was so cool to see. So I definitely highly recommend you make a stop at the tombs of the father and the son of Alexander the Great. During spring in Imathia you can also see the peach blossoms, and it is a whole valley which turns into pink blossoms, and it's something so unique. It's only for 2 weeks from mid-February until March, and unfortunately we weren't able to see that, but it would be pretty cool. Obviously then we spent time in Halkidiki, and if I'm gonna be honest, I already said that I would start in Thessaloniki because I wouldn't necessarily fly out of Thessaloniki again. Looking back at it, it may have been better to continue our way to the Ionian coast instead of Halkidiki. With the Ionian coast I mean Parga, Previsa, the islands of Lefkada, Antipaxos, Corfu. From Ioannina you can easily drive to that part of Greece instead of driving back to Halkidiki. Don't get me wrong, I really liked our time that we spent in Halkidiki because I really wanted to see Mount Athos and the monasteries there. I did expect them to be a bit more like Meteora and have a bit more of a wow factor, although this particular monastery really surprised me. Still, the excursion that we did didn't go all the way to Mount Athos, to the tip of this finger of Halkidiki. Instead it turned back because we were also visiting an island. So I guess it depends on your priorities. If you want to see all of the monasteries and go all the way, and then maybe you could even take a ferry to the island instead and visit it separately, or if you want to also include the island visit in your tour with the boat. We did see dolphins from the boat, which was a big bonus. And we started from Uranoupoli, which is over an hour away from Nikiti where we were staying. We love driving around and we like to have seen as much as possible, but you could also take the boat from Sitonia, the middle finger, so that you don't have to drive all this way. Once again, I will link everything I mentioned in the description below. Cassandra, the left finger of Halkidiki, wasn't really worth a visit in my opinion. I did like Sitonia more. We stayed in Nikiti, but I think also the area of Vurvuru would be nice to stay in. Especially if you would just stay in Vurvuru, maybe you can visit Nikiti or go there for dinner. You could go to the best beaches, which I've mentioned in my other video. But when it comes to the beaches, yes, the water was beautiful, the beaches were clean, but there wasn't a lot to be seen in the water. We love snorkeling and we've just seen so much more already in Greece, and it didn't really satisfy us. The water was really warm though. And we also loved the sea kayaking tour. Honestly, that took us to some of the most beautiful beaches we have seen in Halkidiki, as well as a tour to Mount Athos. Right, now let's get into my recommendations for renting a car and driving in Greece. If you would like to get your hands on my interactive road trip map and even a travel program, then leave a comment down below. It has honestly been so useful. We have used it ourselves, and everything we've needed or the places that we've been I have put on this map, and wherever you are in Halkidiki you can click on one of the points that I have put on the map and just say go, and Google Maps will take you straight to it. It is so useful. It also has the best restaurant recommendations, so you don't need to waste too much time thinking about that, the accommodations, etc, etc. While you are road tripping through Greece, there are a lot of animals that you can spot. From all the cows and sheep and goats and even horses that we've seen this time around, to even tortoises that we helped cross the road. Make sure that you have a good playlist with you and that you have a way of listening to it as well, because when you're up in the mountains the radio connection might not be as good, or you may only have access to Greek music. The infrastructure of the roads and Greece in general is amazing. The highways are fairly new and very well maintained. When you get off the highway, there are 3 kinds of roads. The wide asphalted ones, the very narrow asphalted ones, and dirt roads. Especially in little towns, the roads can be quite narrow, often blocked by a truck that has decided to just stop right there and then. When you go off the beaten path, for example to a waterfall or to a remote beach, then the chances are that it will be a gravel road. It is something you should keep in mind in case you are driving a rental car. In the mountains, especially off the toll roads, the roads can get very windy. Make sure to be very alert about short turns and also maybe motion sickness. Then finally, let's get into the budget. There were 5 of us on this trip. I was traveling with my mom, my dad, my aunt and my uncle, so a lot of the cost we could divide by 5. Our flights per person cost us 180 euros. That is from Brussels to Thessaloniki and back with Aegean. We have no complaints about Aegean at all. In fact, it was a very pleasant experience. The rental car cost us 195 per person for 12 days. That is picking it up and dropping it off at Thessaloniki airport. In total, we paid 12 euros and 20 cents for the toll roads, and that comes down to 2 euros per person. The gasoline in total cost us 250 euros, which per person is 43. Obviously, that sounds like a lot of money for gasoline, but we did drive 1,544 kilometers. And let me tell you, do not underestimate these distances. I think that's the main reason why I wouldn't go back to Halkidiki, why I wouldn't go back to Cassandra, simply because you spend so much time on the road, and in other places in Greece, you would see a lot more driving those distances than you do here. And that is also one of the reasons why I would simply drive onto the Ionian coast and spend some time relaxing there. We spent 31 euros on parking. Again, divided by 5 is about 6 euros. The majority of this parking was actually paid in Thessaloniki because there was no free parking around. Then all of the accommodations, we stayed in 4, 3 Airbnbs and 1 apartment in Nikiti. We spent between 24, and 30 euros per person per night. That is so affordable. Then when it comes down to activities, once again, we didn't spend that much money. Obviously, snorkeling and going for a swim is completely free, and that is, in the end, the best activity to do in Greece. As I said, the monasteries only cost us 9 euros to visit 3. We spent 4 euros per person taking the boat to the island in Ioannina. The entrance to the royal tombs was a bit expensive compared to that, which is why not everyone paid the entrance and went in. It was just my dad and I. We thought if it's gonna cost that much more, 12 euros. If it's gonna be more expensive than everything we've spent so far, and the entire sea where the Greek islands are in is named after this place, then it must be worth it, and it really was. So 12 euros for one of my favorite archaeological sites I've been to in all of Greece is very little. Then the boat trip to Mount Athos cost us 25 euros per person. The kayak tour was 33 per person. We got a little discount because there was 5 of us. And the most important thing, obviously, is the food. We spent 23 euros and 35 cents on food and drinks and cocktails, half liters of beer, wine, anything you could think of. I was physically sick every single day because I was eating so much. A good thing about being with multiple people is that you can order a lot of dishes and simply share them. Even if we would have been with just 3 people, we still would have ordered 1 Greek salad, 1 tzatziki. Those are like the standard things that we order anyways. So being able to split them between more people, obviously it makes it possible to eat more different things and still have a taste of everything. So in total for this trip we spent almost 1,100 euros per person for 12 days. That's less than 100 euros a day, including toll, rental car, gasoline, food, incredible accommodations, the views of these places. Honestly, once again, it's been an incredible trip to Greece. I hope you've enjoyed it and I hope you liked this video. If you did, make sure to give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to see the next of my videos. By the time you see this, I will have been to Andalusia, Spain, and I am so excited for this. I will be going with one of my best friends and I hope you will come along virtually. Alright, I hope to see you in the next one. Bye!